Hey guys, before we get into the video, I just wanted to remind you that I have a Twitter account over at Carthu's Dojo. Head over there, follow me, send a tweet at me, and I'll reply right away, and we can have a cool discussion about Dragon Ball. If you want to have a voice chat discussion, check out the Discord. The link's in the description. You get invited right away. As long as you behave yourself somewhat, you can stay around. Alright, now, video intro. Hello everyone, I'm Carthu and welcome back to the dojo. Today, I want to discuss the Dragon Ball Super Broly Trailer 2. Now, this is an overall discussion about the movie, but the second trailer is where these ideas come from. My friend, Reel to Reel Productions, now R2R Productions, has made a video discussing Broly's lack of tail and what that could potentially mean, and how that implies into the story and what the actual storyline is. I think there's actually some very interesting ideas there, and I highly suggest you check out that video. However, I do have some different ideas as I expressed to him on Twitter. If you followed me there, you may have actually already seen them. Now, I'm going to go a little bit more into depth here about why I believe what I do. Just know that this is not me saying anything definitively. This is simply me giving my opinion on a topic and then expressing that opinion to you guys in the form of a theoretical. Now, let's jump into it. So, in Dragon Ball Super Broly, we have seen since almost the very beginning that Broly has no tail. We assumed he did in that first trailer, the very first teaser I should actually say, but it actually ended up just being the way his cloak was tied around his waist, and it was just nothing after all. Now, Broly's tail is an interesting topic, considering that every other Saiyan seems to have a tail besides the half-breeds. So this leads to the conclusion that maybe Broly wasn't born with a tail, much like R2R, Reel to Reel, came to. And I disagree with that. There's a clear color motif throughout the entire trailer, the second trailer that is. And this color motif is extremely strong. The whole point of it is to signify when certain characters are around, their overall presence, and how that presence looms over all other characters in the scene. Vegeta's red, Goku's yellow, and, by proxy, Broly's green. Now, Broly's green is actually shown. Broly should be the baby in this pod right here. Note the hair, the green like I said, the fact that he is prominently in the foreground, not the background, and obviously that could be to make a scale of depth, but then you give him generic Saiyan hair or completely different and use different colors to signify that he is a different character. But the use of bright colors as well, it also signifies that he is a focus of the scene. Because if really he was meant to be something in the background, something in the foreground but not your focus, you would focus on King Vegeta and everything else would be blurry in that scene. But that's not what happens here. He is very much in focus when he is on the screen, which leads me to believe that we are seeing Broly as a baby in this pod. Now, King Vegeta in this scene is going to his son and praising him, at least as far as we can see. Now, the words that he says may not be directly what he says during that scene. That's common in trailers, but what's actually happening there is he is admiring his son. He is looking at his son fondly, sort of putting all his hopes, aspirations, and future of the Saiyan race, potentially, into the lap of Vegeta here, who is a baby, and saying, you know, he's gifted, he's great, we are going to do amazing things, potentially even make a Super Saiyan, like I said. Maybe that was King Vegeta's end goal with his son. But then, in the same room, we have something else. Another baby. Someone who seems to be born around the same time as the young prince. For the sake of argument, let's concede that that green pod is Broly. Broly is in fact one of the three children of destiny that is being basically pushed as the main theme of this movie, where three destinies, Saiyan destinies, will lead to their eventual meeting. that is sort of the through line of the entire plot and how the conflict arises. So, basing this off the assumption that it is Broly in that pod, and the knowledge that he is one of the 3 destined characters in this movie, we can come to a general realization that Broly's tail and lack thereof is somehow relevant to the plot, at least decently. So Broly may in fact be born stronger than Vegeta. Now, King Vegeta, who is prideful much like Vegeta would grow up to be, Prince Vegeta that is, well, King Vegeta's pride would overtake him, make him exile Broly, and try to kill him. But Broly already has a pretty high power level for a child, an infant at that. So sending him away would not be a perfect way to get rid of him. How else could we do it? Well, you'd have to take advantage of one of your frontier worlds. That would be one of the stronger planets that they would have to conquer. Now, sending an infant to one of the frontier worlds, it's not like sending Goku to Earth. Goku to Earth is like sending a child to a toy box. He is much more powerful than the vast majority of them at birth. However, there are some people, like Muten Roshi, the Ox King even, and Grandpa Gohan, and more, who could defeat Goku if he was truly evil in that time period. The Broly situation is, however, slightly different. It seems like he is being sent to a planet that is known to have higher power levels than the base power level that Broly is so far showing. And while that does sound like a good plan to get rid of a feisty Saiyan that you don't want around anymore, there's actually something that King Vegeta, in all his wisdom, probably would not overlook, and I don't think he did. That would be the Ozaru form. We don't think about it much anymore, because it hasn't been used or really relevant outside of Dragon Ball Heroes recently. But the Ozaru form is still a 10 times multiplier on your base, which is a tremendous increase. 10 times may seem fairly arbitrary without some sort of context, so think about Vegeta on Earth when he fought Goku for the very first time in the Saiyan Saga. This Vegeta was considered pretty powerful, but was nowhere near the power levels that we would later see on Namek. He was outclassed utterly by many people. But with his Ozaru form, he was stronger than all of the Ginyu Force, only having Frieza be directly above him in terms of raw strength. And that's just with his Ozaru form and his regular power. No training, nothing special, just the transformation. So if Broly already has a higher base power level than Vegeta, and presumably their power levels should be not too distinct from the power levels they show towards that part of the series, then Broly could be looking around the near 20,000 power level as an infant. Give a 10 times multiplier to that, 200,000, and you have an incredibly strong baby that basically can't be beat by anyone besides Frieza himself. This incredible power would actually make Broly almost unrivaled, so the best way to deal with it would be to chop off his tail and then send him. His lack of tail being a constant reminder of what King Vegeta did to him and his resentment towards the Saiyan race that betrayed him. All because they wanted someone that was royalty, a bloodline. However, what King Vegeta didn't realize, if this is all true again, is that he actually enabled Broly to become the powerhouse we see in the latest movie. As we all can see, Broly is vastly different from his previous design in terms of, well, everything. It's so less regal, it's less finesse, there's less polish to him. He seems rugged, wild almost, and savage. These aspects of him, including the scars on his body, are actually a key identifier to showing that Broly did not just become strong because he was born that way, but he was sent to a planet that was ready to kill him. He had to survive as an infant on this world, and he had to get stronger through that process. Broly's scars are showing his Zenkais, and this is King Vegeta's massive failing here. He created the Ultimate Saiyan Warrior by trying to rid the world of the Ultimate Saiyan Warrior. He tried to artificially inflate his son to new heights without properly giving him the experience or the dangers that would actually craft the Ultimate Warrior using Saiyan biology. Instead, he leaves that to Broly. In his wisdom to remove Broly's tail, he actually makes a grave mistake in leaving Broly no other option than to fight and get stronger and stronger. A Broly that was abusing the Zenkai system way before anyone was doing it in the Namek arc. Way before Vegeta got shot through the chest on purpose to get healed and be brought back, Broly was busy fighting monsters on a ravaged world. A planet entirely full of creatures with power levels probably nearing the 20,000 mark. And through that, Broly got stronger. Broly became the legendary Saiyan that we know him as, and we see him as in these trailers. Through not only Paragus' guidance later on, but also his own struggles and hardships and the necessity to survive. But that's just my opinion, guys. Thank you so very much for watching. Leave opinions, counterpoints in the comments down below. Hit subscribe and ring that notification bell if you want to know when I upload next. I'll be talking about this trailer some more, I'm sure. And also, check me out on Patreon if you really want to support me. But for now, guys, video, outro.